Hey everybody, good evening. Hey, sorry for my voice. We get that out of the way right now. I went to bed last night, felt great. I woke up this morning and my throat's like doing this thing. It's doing this thing. I can taste and smell just fine. So I don't know what to think of it. It's just maybe summer allergies. I don't know. But recently I had a couple of comments where people have said, it's been a long time since you've done anything rye related. So I figured, well, rye not. That's a dad pun. I worked really hard on that one too. I was quite proud of that. Figured why not? I had my wife pour a blind of 4 ryes from my collection. I said pick any rye, mix price points, and maybe different types, because some are finished, some are not, some are 6 years, some are up to 18 years. Mixed mash bills, some are rye with a high corn mash, some are 100% rye, 95% rye, 5% malted rye. So a nice mixture. I gave her a list, and I don't know which ones she poured. I figured it would be fun to blind them, and then rank them, and then reveal what they are. Cause it could be funny if a $25 rye, beats out an $80 rye. But we'll give it a shot. We'll give some notes, and we'll see which of these ryes from my shelf takes the cake today. Let's do it. Now, she wrote down under each coaster, there's a piece of paper that lets me know what's in each glass. The nose on this first one, a little bit of melon, almost like a honeydew melon, but also you get that crispness of, a traditional rye. Like those white peppercorns, and maybe a little bit of citrus in there, like the rind of a lemon, Like, I do a lot of cocktails, and, you take your garnish of a lemon or an orange, and then you give it a nice twist over the glass, and you wipe the rind around the rim of the glass, twist it, and drop it in. Smelling this kind of reminds me of a lemon twist, like the rind of a lemon that I would twist for a cocktail. And maybe the sweetness of baking spices. Let's go in on it. That just tastes like a traditional, straightforward rye. Maybe not like, Rittenhouse rye, which I do think is, for your money, Rittenhouse is fantastic for mixing cocktails with. But this is what I feel like this rye wants to do. This rye wants to be in an old fashioned. You know what I mean? It doesn't have a whole bunch of complex notes in there to detract from anything. It's more like, hey, I came to be a team player, and I want to be in your cocktail, mixing with all those flavors well. Being a good rye, highlight my good rye-ness, but also let everyone else shine too. Let your bitters shine, let the sweetness of your sugar syrup shine as well. But it's not all spice. That's like a good, right down the middle of the road, sweet and spicy. A little sweet, a little spicy. The more I drink it though, sips 2 and 3, that sweetness starts to open up a little bit more too. And the spice kind of tapers off a little bit once my palate sort of gets warmed up to it. Yeah, I can see myself mixing with this. It's a good sipper by itself. Don't get me wrong. But it doesn't have a ton of complexity either. The hardest part about doing these, for me, is not guessing. Because as soon as I taste things, my brain starts to go to bottles on the shelf. It's like, I think I might know what that is. You know what I mean? But then it sort of ruins the blind. I gotta try not to do that. Glass number 2 right off the bat. This is a little bit lighter in color. Actually, I'm looking at the screen, and it looks darker on the screen than it does in person. This almost looks like a blonde ale. Almost like a Pilsner or something. Ooh, this is a little different. This is on the nose dry erase marker, permanent marker. Not in a bad way, but you know what I mean. You get that. It's cleaner. It's not as sweet as the first one. A little bit of mature yellow fruits on the nose too, which doesn't surprise me with a rye. Let's try it. This one's really simple. The first one had, it sort of towed that line between sweet and spice. This one just tastes to me like it's just leaning hard into the rye side of things. Not high in the corn mash bill. If there's any corn in the mash bill, it's probably pretty minimal. This is just a clean, crisp rye. Not super high in proof either. This probably would be a good mixer. This would probably make a good mixer, I would think. My brain is already going to a bottle on my shelf. And if it is what I think it is, which I'll make my guesses as to what each bottle is, if I have any guesses. That's not the point of the video. But I'll do that after I taste them all and rank them. So I'll do my rankings, final rankings, and then right before I reveal what they are, after I've ranked them, then I'll tell you, you know what, this one reminded me of, whatever bottle. But this to me is really simple. This wants to be mixed with. It's not the star of anything. I don't think this is something that anyone would be jumping out of their seat praising, you know what I mean? But not all ryes are sort of designed for that purpose. Yeah, really light too. Light in the proof. Let's move on to the next one. This one's much darker in color than the last one. And it almost has a little bit of like a redness to it as well. Ooh, the nose on this is... it's dialed up from the last one. The last one was really muted. This one's a little more assertive. I mean, I get the typical things you get with a rye. I get a little like a wintergreen on the nose, but also almost the sweetness of I'm thinking like a sweet tart. I don't know, is that weird? The nose makes me think of sweet tarts and wintergreen. Like, that sounds like a really bad mixture, but not on the nose of a whiskey. It kind of works. There's a sweetness there for sure. Maybe just a fuzz of citrus. You know what I really do get is like that saltwater taffy. 100%. The more I think about that while I'm smelling it, my brain is jumping right to saltwater taffy on the nose. Let's try it. Oh, that's very good. That is unapologetically a rye. It's quite tasty. There's like a sugar caney kind of a finish, like sugar cane and wood on the finish. And I'm kind of forgetting about the palate because I'm lingering on that finish. It's so delightful. I think of sugar cane, like a raw sugar cane. If you were to like rub raw sugar into oak and then lick it, you know what I mean? That's kind of the vibe I'm getting on the tail end of this. That finish is delightful. Oh, very playful for a rye. You know, most ryes, not most, but a lot of ryes are like, no, we're a rye. We bring the spice to the table. You know what I mean? And a little bit of yellow fruit. This one's trying to be a little playful. I kind of like that. I dig that. I get a little bit of that white peppercorn and that zesty spiciness up front on the palate. But it's the way it finishes that just makes that one really delightful. I almost don't want to go in for another drink until the finish is finished. You know what I mean? You ever have a whiskey like that where you drink it and you're lingering on that finish, and that finish is just so nice. It's just so nice that you're like, I don't really want to go in back in for another sip yet. I want to let the finish just sort of ride it out for a bit. This would be a good one to sit down and sip if you had some time to kill. You know what I mean? You weren't in a rush. You just wanted to let it do its thing. I like that quite a bit. And the last one. This one reminds me in color of the first one the most. In color, it's more like your caramely brown, you know what I mean? Whoa! I'll tell you right off the nose, I'm pretty sure I know what this is. And it's in the frame of the shot right now. I can see it in the screen. I can see it behind me. I'm pretty sure I know what this is just off the nose alone. And the reason for that, which I would say, if this is what I think it is, kudos to the distillers because they did what they set out to do. If this is what I think it is. On the nose, this smells like rum. It smells like rum. The nose of this rye took me to the Caribbean. Now, I love the Caribbean. I've been there a few times. I did scuba diving at Montserrat is the name of the island. And volcanic island, by the way. Volcano actually erupted and buried this tourist city there. It's really fascinating. It's like a modern day Pompeii. And I actually went there. I spent almost a month I spent there in Montserrat. And I got my scuba diving certification up to, 40 feet at the time. And then I did scuba there. Fell in love with it. Absolutely loved the Caribbean. Everyone there drinking rum. And then I went back to the Caribbean for my honeymoon. Spent some time in Jamaica, where I had a lot of Appleton Estate. Appleton Estate is a Jamaican rum, and it's really freaking good. It's my favorite rum to use when I make my wife and other people who come over who like beachy drinks. I'm always using Appleton Estate. I think it is like one of the best like mainstay rums out there for making good beach drinks, especially in the summertime like now. I've gone through 2 bottles already, just entertaining folks, of Appleton Estate. All this to say, this rye takes me there, takes me back to the Caribbean. On the nose alone, I haven't even tasted it. And it still has that yellow fruit, and that spiciness on the nose, but it's got a little bit higher proof point and rum, which is kind of funny. Actually, now I think about it, I used sugar cane as a way to describe the finish of the previous one, which is kind of funny because rum is, if you didn't know that, rum is distilled from sugar cane, or raw sugar, sometimes just the raw sugar, which is why it's so sweet. Let's try it. I do lose a lot of that rum on the palate, though. It makes an appearance in the finish, right? That rum comes, it's on the nose, heavy. Palate, gone. And then it makes a resurgence in the finish. So I definitely get a little bit of the rum in the finish. But it's not the star of the show. It's sort of the rising action and the falling action, but it's not the climax there on the palate. Right in the middle, it's all rye, baby. It's all rye right there on the palate. So you're going in for a sip, you smell rum, you take the sip, you get all rye, yellow fruit, a little bit of spice, that white peppercorn, and then the finish goes back to the Caribbean. So it's framed. It's a rum that is framed in Caribbean vibes. You know what I'm saying? Like going into this sip, I hear the steel drums, a little bit of Jimmy Buffett. Cheeseburger in paradise. I can't sing right now because of the way my voice is. If my voice was on normal right now, I still wouldn't sing because I think you deserve better. Anyways, that's just a really solid rye framed in Caribbean vibes. That's what that is. Okay, we've had all four. I'm going to revisit them with a quick sip, and then I'm going to rank them for you. And then we'll reveal what they are. Sound good? Let's do it. On revisiting the first glass, that one tastes much more like a bourbon than the other three do. Especially coming off that last one. It almost tasted like I was going back to a bourbon instead of a rye, which makes me think I might know what it is. But I'll come back to that. Okay, my final ranking. Here's where I'm going to land on these. Glass number 3 is my first place. Glass number 4 is my second place. Glass number 1 is my third place. And glass number 2 is my fourth place. So again, glass number 3, that's going to be my favorite. My second favorite is going to be glass number 4. The first glass we tried tonight, that's my number 3. And glass number 2 takes last place. Now let me just say, I don't think any of these are bad. I really don't think any of these are bad. Now, I kind of want to guess all 4 of them. But here's the risk I run with that. I like to try to think that I have a pretty decent palate. I mean, I'm not spot on all the time. But when I'm trying my bottles, I think I have a pretty good understanding of their flavor profiles. But the risk I run is that if I get them all right, then people think I cheated. If I get them wrong, then I invalidate myself and people think I'm an idiot who doesn't know what he's talking about. You know what I mean? So I kind of hesitate to do that. But I'm gonna make 2 guesses. I want to guess all 4. Should I guess all 4? You know what? Screw it. I'm gonna guess all 4. And if you guys think I cheated and I get them all right, I don't care. I don't care. I think I cheated. But I'm gonna swing for the fences tonight. I'm gonna try and flex my palate muscles here. I think my last place, which was glass number 2, I think that's Piggyback, which is a 6-year rye from Whistle Pig. I love Whistle Pig. I have the 18-year, boom, I'm poking it, that one right there. That's the Whistle Pig 18-year. It's delicious. I barely opened that thing because I want it to last. That was a gift from my community, actually. That one. But not that one, but I ran out of shelf space, so I actually have another shelf that's off camera. And the Piggyback's over there because it's a mixing drink. It's a mixing rye, right? I think glass number 2, which was my last place, is Piggyback, a 6-year rye by Whistle Pig, which is great. It's a great, I mean, I wouldn't have bought Piggyback if I didn't think it was good. I don't just go out of my way to buy bad whiskey. But anyways, I have it for mixing purposes. Makes great old fashions and stuff, and Manhattans. I think that my third place, which was glass number 1, I'm going to guess that is Pikesville. Now, I haven't had Pikesville in a quick minute. It's probably been a few months since I had it pour from my Pikesville bottle. But if I remember correctly, Pikesville for a rye drinks an awful lot like a Jim Beam bourbon. If I remember correctly, that's what I remembered thinking about it while I was tasting it. I was like, man, this is a really good rye, but it kind of reminds me of a Jim Beam bourbon. And I said to you guys on my second time around, I said, this one kind of tastes like a bourbon in comparison to the other three. And on the first time around, I said it was straddling that line between rye and sweetness from the corn, from the bourbon. So I'm going to guess that glass number 1, my third place, I'm going to guess that that's Pikesville. I'm going to guess that my second place, which was glass number 4, I'm going to guess that that is Sagamore. That one right there. Sagamore rum cask finish. I told you it took me to the Caribbean. It was framed in Caribbean vibes. I think that's the Sagamore. Which Sagamore does amazing rye, by the way. I think that's the Sagamore rum cask finish. Now it's not as impressive if I get it right, because I don't have any other rum cask finished ryes on the shelf. So if I go in on a rye and I smell rum, it's going to be really easy for me to just immediately associate it with, boom, Sagamore rum cask finish. I think this is the one that I'm a little stumped on, my first place, but I'm already committing to guessing, so I'm going to do it. I think that it's this one right here. That one right there. There you go. That's the motion right there. I think it's Bardstown Origin Series. Their own juice. I think it's their rye. Shall we reveal? We'll start with my last one. Last place. I said I think it's Piggyback from Whistle Pig. Let's see what it is. This is glass number 2. Yeah. That's what it is, baby. Whistle Pig. Booyakasha. Now, I'm realizing, looking at this, that she just wrote down Whistle Pig. God bless her. I don't know if she meant 18 year or Piggyback, because those are the only two I have currently. I killed my bottle of the 12 year. I'm like 99% certain that my last place was Piggyback, the 6 year. But she just wrote Whistle Pig, so it could be the 18 year. I'm gonna verify. Yeah. It was a Piggyback. It wasn't the 18 year. So that would have been crazy if the 18 year Whistle Pig took last place. It did not. It wasn't, well, as far as I know so far, it wasn't in the lineup. So last place, my fourth place was Piggyback. Let me get the bottle. Boom. There she is. Piggyback. 6 year. Now, like I said, I'm actually a big fan of Whistle Pig. I think they make delicious whiskey, delicious ryes. For the longest time, they've been sourcing from Canada, their rye. And in fact, the 18 year, that's none of that is their juice. That's 18 year Canadian rye whiskey. And it's phenomenal. Phenomenal. I want to say Mammoth, sourced from the same distiller in Canada. So I think it was like the same juice, but they they do different things to it. So anyways, Whistle Pig, Piggyback, 6 year. I think this is their own juice. And like I said, it was just a straightforward rye. Really meant for mixing purposes. And that's why I have a bottle on hand, is because I like using Piggyback in my cocktails like Old Fashions and Manhattans. So I think it definitely deserves a place on your shelf, but not as like a nightly sipper. I mean, it can be that if you're in the mood for that. But for me, it's a mixer. So I'm 1 for 1 on my guesses. I'm getting a little cocky now. Now my third place was glass number 1. And I guessed that was Pikesville. Shall we see? This is the one we're interested in now. I said Pikesville. What's the verdict? Your boy's on fire. Now, this could mean that my palate is good. This could mean I got lucky. This could mean I have a problem. 2 for 2. So my third place tonight was glass number 1, which ends up being Pikesville. Let me get the bottle for you. Boom, Pikesville. There are actually rumors going around. Disturbing rumors. Very disturbing. That Pikesville, 110 proof, is going to be getting sunset. There are rumors that Pikesville, they're going to stop producing as much of this as they have in recent years. Which is too bad, because I think this is a fine rye. Especially for people who might be a little apprehensive about ryes. Maybe they think they're too spicy. This one is like a perfect transitional rye that takes you from loving bourbon to loving rye. It's a great middleman, right, to get you from bourbon to rye. So Pikesville, great whiskey. I think it's delicious. Hopefully the rumors are not true, and hopefully this stuff continues to be produced at the same rate that it has been for years, because it's really good stuff. All right, that was my third place. Second place, I said Sagamore rum cask finish. If I nail these, I'm gonna feel really good, but I'm also gonna feel really dumb for guessing, because for some people inevitably they will think you cheated if you get them all right. But you gotta remember, these are on my shelf. These are things that I drink, so I'm gonna recognize some, maybe all, and maybe I did recognize them all tonight, but we're about to see. All right, so my second place, boom, I guessed that this was Sagamore rum cask finish. Da-na-na-na. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me, baby? Sagamore. I'm 3 for 3 tonight. Am I good or do I have a problem? Let me know in the comments. If you think it's the latter, don't let me know in the comments. Don't let me know. Sagamore Reserve Series rum cask finish. If you've never had Sagamore stuff, Sagamore knows their rye. They know it really well. That's kind of their thing. And they crush it. They really do crush it. I think that this is a delicious bottle. I really do like rum in general. I like mixing rum drinks for friends, for my wife, for her friends. I like making rum runners and daiquiris and things like that. Sex on the beach. It's just good fun stuff in the summertime. We like to, we have a fire pit that we bring out into our front driveway. And, I got my hatchet. I'm chopping down some wood that's in a pile to size. Toss it in the fire pit, get it nice and roaring. We pull out a bunch of chairs. Me and my wife, we sit down. The puppy, the kids, they're playing. And our neighborhood in the summertime is bustling. People are walking their dogs, taking walks with their kids. Kids are riding through the neighborhood. And so the parents, if they're walking by, they know, hey, if Ryan and Stephanie have their fire pit out, it's an open invitation. So they'll come and they'll sit down in a seat. Their kids will play in our backyard. We got a great backyard. And so the kids will play. They'll have fun. And the adults will sit up there. We'll chat around the fire pit. And everyone knows I love to make people drinks. Hey, Ryan, what are you making? What you got tonight? And I'm like, oh, you know what? Let me make you a daiquiri. I'll whip you up a daiquiri. I love mixing with rum for folks. It's just a great base spirit for stuff like that. That and tequila. Great for summer drinks. I've always got citrus on hand. I'm juicing limes and lemons and oranges for all of those cocktails. It's so fun to me. And this kind of blends both of those worlds for me. What am I doing? Why am I holding it like this? Of all the ways I could have held this for you guys, this is what I chose. I am a contortionist. This is how I would present this bottle to you if I was a contortionist. I don't know why I did that instead of just like a normal person. But this blends both of those worlds for me. It's got the rye, the whiskey. That's what it is. But it also is framed in rum, in the Caribbean, in that summer vibes. I love that. And that took my second place. And now I'm getting confident. Now that I'm 3 for 3, I'm like, I shouldn't have second guessed myself. You darn well know my first place has got to be Bardstown Origin Series Green Label Rye. That one right there. It's that one. It's gotta be. All right. This one. That's my first place. Whoop. Whoop. Da-na-na-na. Bardstown, baby! Yeah, that's what it is. He's cheating. He can't keep getting away with this. Listen, I love Rise, and this one is so good. It's so good. I have a lot of respect for the folks at Bardstown. For the longest time, they were really good at sourcing. And not just from one place. You know, a lot of distillers are like, oh, we source from MGP. It's what we do. And there's nothing wrong with that if you do that well. But Bardstown's like, we source from whoever's making the juice we're interested in. Okay? You get like their Discovery Series, like this bottle right here. That's the Discovery Series 8. And it's fantastic. If you ever see Discovery Series 8 that hasn't been snatched up yet, that was the 2022 release. If you ever see a bottle of that, pick it up. $140. So good. And that's what they do. They're like, we don't source from one spot. We source from whoever has the juice we want. And they do that very well. But I think that doing that has made them it's really teed them up to make their own juice the way they wanted to. They have seen how other people are doing it in the industry. Their Origin Series is called Origin Series because it's their juice. Okay? This is theirs. Kentucky Straight Rye Whiskey finished in toasted cherry wood and oak barrels. And I gotta tell you guys, this is really freaking good. If you ever see, I'm pretty sure it's the priciest of their Origin Series. You've got the white label, the black label, and the green label. And all of them are great. The black label is phenomenal. I'm a big fan. But I gotta say, their rye, it's the priciest of the three, but it's totally worth it. You're gonna pay like 70 to 80 bucks for a bottle of this stuff, but it's really good. Bardstown, here's to you guys. You're crushing it. Keep crushing it, please, because I get to reap the benefits of you crushing it. Toasted cherry wood. That's dang good. You know, I'm not on my main channel, which is family friendly and we don't swear. I'm on my whiskey channel, which is like, you know, you should be 21 plus if you're here anyways. So I'm gonna say it. It's darn good. It's darn good. Don't tell my wife I said that. Or my mom. Don't tell my mom. Anyways, thanks for tuning into the video. I appreciate you. What are your favorite ryes? What ryes out there blow your socks off? Have you had the Origin Series from Bardstown? Have you had anything from Sagamore? Because they crush it. They're really good. Let me know what your favorite ryes are. Thanks so much for tuning into the video. Thank you so much to my Patreon supporters. Hey, Brian. I had a package arrive today from Brian. He's one of our Patreon supporters. Shout out to Brian. And it had some samples in there. I didn't look at the key yet because I love doing blinds. I love it. But I'll have to try those and we'll rank them too. So good. I got some more blinds to go through, samples from Matt as well. So I got a lot of work to do. Woo! We got a lot of work to do. It's work, yes. I know you're over there, like, Ryan. Did you just say you have work to do while referring to drinking whiskey that you didn't pay for? That people sent you? Yeah. Yeah, it's hard work. Hey, thanks so much. Appreciate y'all. Tune into the next video. Or don't. But I would prefer that you do. We'll catch you then. May you get better with age and live richly, my friends. Bye-bye.